Okay, babies, it is time for Unit 1 notes. You should have already looked at your parent function video. So now we're going to dive right into the Unit 1 notes. I'm going to try to make this as painless as possible. I don't want to drone on for hours and hours here, but I do want you to have some good information. So some of this stuff is going to be review for you from algebra because we are dealing with functions and graphing. And first, of course, I've got my definition of a function here. A function, of course, is a set of ordered pairs where the x values do not repeat. So that means that whatever this x value is, none of the other ordered pairs in that function are going to share that x value. And just as a reminder, in case you've forgotten all of your math, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. So positive x values are here, negative x values are here, positive y values are here, negative y values are down here. All right, the vertical line test is a physical, visual way that we can assess whether or not a graph is in fact a function. So let's say I just draw a simple absolute value function here. All right, I know it's a function because I'm trying to illustrate this. So when you draw a vertical line through that, notice it crosses it at only one ordered pair. Anywhere you draw this vertical line through your graph, it only intersects it in one place. That's how you can tell it's a function. All right, so that brings us to this idea of intercepts. A lot of students struggle with intercepts, so let's talk about this. The x-intercept occurs when a value goes through the x-axis and the value for y is 0. And the y-intercept is when your value goes through the y-axis and your x value is 0. Okay, so as we move through this, please remember that functions can have at most only one y-intercept. And the way you can think of this, if you've got a graph, okay, and if in fact it is a function, it will only cross the y-axis one time. So it can only have one y-intercept. But if I have a graph that does this, see how it shares these x values right here? And it has two y-intercepts. That's not a function. So the red graph is not a function. Okay, so what else do we need to look at here? Let's do some practice with some intercepts. I have a graph right here, so an example from a graph. I want you to notice where all the intercepts are. We've got one right here, right here, right here, and right here. So the ordered pairs for these, this is an x-intercept, and its ordered pair is -3, 0. Because from the origin, see, we move to the left 3, but we don't move up or down. That's why the y value is 0 on the x-axis. All right, so this ordered pair right here is 0, +3, because this time we move from the origin up 3, but we don't move right or left. So the x value is 0. This ordered pair is 2, 0. It's an x-intercept. And this is also an x-intercept at 6, 0. Okay, so when we're looking at it on a graph, it's pretty easy to determine what the intercepts are. When you're looking at an equation, you have to do a little bit more work. So remember from algebra that f of x is the same thing as y. It just means that y is a function of x. It's function notation. So we need to remember that. So if I want to find my x-intercept, remember that is when y equals 0. And I'll also want to find my y-intercept. Remember, that is when x equals 0. So if I know for the y-intercept what the value of y is, I can just substitute it into my equation and solve for x. So if f of x represents y, then I'm going to have 0. I'm just replacing f of x with 0 equals 3x plus 7 I subtract 7 from both sides. I have 3x equals negative 7. Divide both sides by 3. And my x-intercept is negative 7/3, 0. Awesome. So that's how that works. And then the y-intercept is super easy because if you'll notice this equation, this is super cool. You're going to love this. This equation is in slope-intercept form. So the intercept here is 0, 7. Awesome. So that should get you through. That much information on this video should get you through your homework, part of your homework, but we are going to do other videos. So hold tight.